Welcome to GOODWorks WNC. I'm Michael Trufant, and we are coming to you from Travinia Italian Kitchen in Biltmore Park's Town Square. This is brought to you by 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE. We have with us today the Executive Director of the Hope Chest for Women, Sarah Laws. Sarah, we're glad you're here.
Thank you, Michael.
What services does Hope Chest for Women provide?
The Hope Chest for Women helps women that have been diagnosed with breast or gynecologic cancer. We help women through education, emotional support, and financial assistance to help them navigate through the cost of their cancer care. We're a local nonprofit that specifically serves all 22 counties of Western North Carolina.
How do you all specifically treat or help clients who are in treatment?
Well, we're non-medical, so we like to call the women we help clients versus patients. But they are cancer patients. One of the eligibility factors are that they have already been diagnosed with breast or gynecologic cancer. And that's when we step in. It can be really scary to receive that news. So we'll help them get connected to emotional support, and then we'll help them through financial counseling, medical bill pay education, and we'll give direct bill pay assistance while they're in treatment to try to offset some of those costs.
When in the process should someone look for assistance for treatment?
It's the trickiest part. People don't like to ask for help, and it's really hard for someone that's never needed it to receive it. If women could reach out as soon as they're diagnosed, even if financially they think that they can manage the cost of their care and they have some savings, if they could reach out as soon as they're diagnosed, we can teach them other ways to help negotiate through dealing with the cost of their cancer treatment.
Tell me about a recent story about a client that you worked with.
Well, we had a woman that had applied for services recently, and when she first got diagnosed, she had sick leave and savings, so she didn't think she'd need help. But she ended up missing a lot more work than she thought. She had a mastectomy, and then she followed that with chemotherapy. So after her sick leave was used up, after she depleted her savings, she was really struggling to pay basic needs, like she had a utility disconnection notice and needed help getting a partial rent payment together. So when we did our intake with her, we talked to her. She originally came to us because the doctor's office referred her for medical assistance to help pay her doctor bills. But our philosophy is to pay the doctor last and make sure that they have a roof over their head and that the utilities aren't being shut off. So with this woman, we were able to teach her that she qualified for her medical bills to be written off 100% through Mission, where she had her surgery. We helped her connect with a local nonprofit to get a partial rent payment, and then we helped her see that she would qualify for utility assistance. And then we tackled some of the other bills that she had, some of her co-pays for physical therapy that weren't covered by insurance, and we helped her with her phone bill and just gave her Ingalls gas cards to use for food and gas.
What was that like for her? I mean, how did she express how grateful she was?
She was really grateful. She was really helpful. Just felt like someone cared. You know, when you're given a blow like a cancer diagnosis, sometimes it can be really isolating and you feel like you're in it alone. People talk about the treatment, they talk about the diagnosis, but no one ever says, I can't afford to pay for this.
Speaking of that, how are you all funded?
We get our funding from the community. Over 50% of the money that we raise comes from individual donors. So these are people making small payments. It all adds up. We also get money through hosting fundraising events. There's a lot of community support where people will host a fundraising event and then donate the money to us. So that's really great when they can do that.
So how can people, what advice do you have regarding the cost of treatment?
Get organized early on. If people can just try to focus on understanding what their medical costs might be, there's no way to predict what it's going to cost because each treatment plan changes as the individuals are starting to go through it. But if they can simply get a binder, organize their bills, choose a day of the week to sit down with that binder and try to pay some of those bills and really understand what their fixed costs are as an individual or as a family. If they can plan their expenses and their incomes, then they can see where the wiggle room is to help pay for the medical co-pays. it's really important to get connected to resources and patient assistance funds at that point as soon as possible. It just helps them stay on top of things.
Can they get assistance through their local doctor's office?
They definitely can. It depends on the medical provider, but a lot of doctors have financial counselors. They'll know about their internal charity care programs. There's also a lot of patient assistance programs. Pharmaceutical companies, they have set up these patient assistance programs. If we can get people connected to those right as soon as possible, then that really helps.
Do you have any tips for patients working with insurance companies, private insurance?
We try to tell people do not pay their first bill when it comes from a doctor. It's important to get that explanation of benefits statement. It's what explains what the insurance will pay compared to what your copay amount's going to be. A lot of times the bills come before the insurance statement comes that will show what the insurance company is willing to pay. So if people can wait, don't pay the first bill, really understand that explanation of benefits statement, call their insurance provider. If they get someone on the phone that's really compassionate, ask for that person by name when they call back. And if a bill has not been filed correctly, ask about that and ask your doctor's office and then ask the insurance company and follow up on it the next week when you have your bill pay day designated to just follow up with those things.
There must be a great need. How can the community help?
We need volunteers. We need people willing to come into the office and help us out. We need people willing to host a fundraising event. If they want to raise money for breast cancer, keep it local, donate it to us. We also really need people to be ambassadors to help spread our mission, to talk about how we help women, and to get that information to the people that they know in our community that have been diagnosed with breast or gynecologic cancer.
Wow. How can women apply for help?
They can go to our website. It's hopechestforwomen.org, or they can give us a call at 708-3017. And our application is online, and we're happy to mail one out to them if they don't have access to a computer.
Wow, well, what a great opportunity. Thanks for sharing today and the good work that you guys do. We want to thank our sponsors again, 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE and Travinia Italian Kitchen. I'm Michael Trufant, and GOODWorks WNC is brought to you by Crunch Media. Thank you.